Freedom. Back in the days when I was child, all day from morning till evening, we were playing outside, the only problem was living. Our grandparents were together, communicating on the benches. They were teaching us wisdom and sharing their life adventures. We were all singing songs and playing guitar in the park, making fire, baking potatoes, looking at flames when it's dark. Everyone knows each other, neighbors will help when you need them. Carefree childhood, all people together, that's freedom. Let's step ahead, I'm a student, exchange program in Greece. It's best year of my life, every day is at ease. Thousands of people, always action, trips through marvelous country. Too many moments to count, attends my own Jumanji. Living close to the beach and tangerines on the trees. I've met new friends and we still close like palms on a feast. Mediterranean ladies, sunset and ouzo with ice. And a gira kotopola, Freddo espresso, that's nice. Trip to Crete, I'm on a boat, so amazing, can't believe it. In the middle of the sea, I look around, that's freedom. I'm back in Kyrgyzstan, working as guide with a tourist, exploring history, culture, enjoy my job to the fullest, doing hike with the horses, tents in the mountains ten shine, inexpressible beauty, 5,000 meters sunshine, non-freezing glacier, goats and snow leopards climbing high. I watch the golden eagle flying, I'm astonished with smile, at panorama with my brothers, after a long time haven't seen them. I see Bishkek and the lights, now I'm at home, that's freedom. I'm in a plane with gin tonic from Kyrgyzstan to Slovakia. I'm leaving one life behind, another waiting, I'll rack it up. I like the feeling of freedom when you're crossing the clouds and everything will be different just in a couple of hours. Changing continents, people, observe and learn different cultures. It's an incredible feeling to catch your chances and dance with. Freedom for me to be grateful for every moment of living, to share bread with other people, giving more than receiving. Be free to talk, express yourself, but be responsible for words. Respect for people, for yourself, what you are really worth. It is not about the purse, it is your heart and your soul. In our turbulent times, your peace of mind is the goal. Too much unnecessary stuff and information like handcuffs. Bad news falling on the heads from everywhere like raindrops. Let's be free from all the things what we ain't really need. Let's stop following nonsense and take this conscious league. Look at the sky, at the nature, everything is so magical. I'm thankful for my life, the understanding was gradual. There are so many good people, so many places to discover. Let us share some love, be next to kindness Esquire. I'm glad to share thoughts with you and glad to listen your stories. I wish good health for your families, let our plans become glory. God bless Slovakia, I love here. It gave me hand when I need one. Cheers my brothers and sisters, let's make a toast for freedom.
Chcel by som vám povedať môj skutočný príbeh. V starom meste je veľa nerovností, ktoré tvoria kamene zamkovej dlážby. Ľudia tam chodili hore-dole. Môj zrak sa upriamil na 3 ľudí, ktorí boli na opačnej strane ulice. Zrazu pád. Ľudia boli prekvapení, zatajovali dých a jeden druhému rozprávali, čo sa vlastne stalo. Pani ležala na zemi a okolo nej sa zafarbovala zem do červena. Ľudia sa pristavovali, prišiel čašník s vreckovkami, druhý so stoličkou a vo mne sa vynárali otázky. Mám tam vôbec ísť? Veď je tam toľko ľudí. Nie je tam niekto kompetentnejší ako ja, ktorý by tejto pani pomohol? No napriek tomu som sa rozhodol, že tam idem. Táto trojica boli ľudia, ktorí vlastne boli turisti, ktorí pochádzali vlastne z Nemecka a urobili si výlet. A ja som sa tam pristavil a hneď som sa pána spýtal, či je všetko v poriadku. On mi odpovedal, že áno, a mal pritom nejaký zvláštny prízvuk. Naznačovalo mi to, že hovorí nemecky. Tak sme plynule prešli do jeho rodného jazyka. No a potom vlastne, čo sa stalo? No táto pani, ktorá ležala na zemi, sme ju zobrali aj s čašníkom a dali sme ju sadnúť na stoličku. Jej krv stekala na jej telo, na jej oblečenie, na zem. Pána som sa spýtal, či mám zavolať sanitku. On vehementne odmietol, pretože nechcel robiť nikomu starosti. Práve že hovoril, no som v cudzom meste, v cudzom štáte, o to je to pre mňa horšie, lebo neovládam jazyk. Medzi tým prišla staršia pani, ktorá hovorila, že vie po nemecky a že bude tlmočiť. Ja som tam už nevidel pre seba priestor, tak som si povedal, že si idem dopiť svoje kapučíno a v duchu som si povedal, možno sa ešte zídem. Tak som si sadol na stoličku, kde som predtým sedel a mojej priateľke som zreferoval celú situáciu, že je to trojica, ktorá pochádza z Nemecka a že sú na výletnej lodi. A iš mali čas, tak sa išli prejsť do mesta. O chvíľku z reštaurácie vyšla pani, ktorá avizovala, že zavolala sanitku. Sanitári boli o niekoľko minút tam a mladý čašník ma zavolal, aby som prišiel tlmočiť. Budem musieť ísť do nemocnice, pretože krvácanie sa nedá zastaviť. Ja som hneď ponúkol jej manželovi, že ich tam vezmem. V nemocnici sme čakali na vyšetrenie a na výsledok. Lekár mi oznámil, že toto krvácanie sa nedá zastaviť a preto budeme musieť ísť do ďalšej nemocnice, kde je špecializované pracovisko. Nakoniec sme skončili v nemocnici v Petržalke, kde táto pani bola pani doktorkou obhliadnutá a zároveň aj vyšetrená, len trvalo to veľmi dlho. 4 hodiny sme čakali na to, kým zastavia krvácanie. Už bola skoro polnoc a my sme boli vyčerpaní. Zavolali sme si taxík a odprevadili sme ich rovno na loď, ktorá stala v centre mesta na Dunaji. Ten starý pán nám veľmi ďakoval a chválil nás za to, že sme náš čas obetovali práve pre nich a že sme s tým nemali žiaden problém. Bol veľmi šťastný. No a v ten deň som vlastne so svojou priateľkou mal krásnu prechádzku a potom sme si chceli užiť náš obľúbený nápoj v kaviarni. Žiaľ, situácia sa zmenila a naše potreby a našu slobodu sme podriadili niekomu inému. Cudziemu páru, cudzím ľuďom. Títo ľudia nám boli naozaj vďační. Preto od tejto chvíle rozmýšľam nad tým, či by som nemal viac moju slobodu žiť, ako o nej hovoriť.
Hi, my name is Poonam. I came to Slovakia like 1 year back and I studied medicine from India and I'm here because of my husband, like he's working in an IT company. So I'm going to tell you my life story. That is, when I was a kid, I was very confident about myself and I was very studious and I was, listening everything what my father said to me. And I was like obeying him in all way. Like he used to decide my clothes, my hairstyle, and my hairs were very short when I was a kid because I should not look pretty and I should only concentrate on my studies. So, okay, I understand him. So he guided me and everything. I was under a lot of restrictions. I was like, when I grew up till 25 years, when I was studying medicine, I was very good in my studies and all. I never had boyfriend in my life and I was only into studies. And then he told me not to talk to boys, that you are going to do arranged marriage and you're not supposed to talk to any boys or make any boyfriends. I was never on Tinder. So I agreed to him and I was like, okay, fine, I will study and study. But later on he was looking for my marriage and it was very tough for me to see, without talking to boys and everything. Then he pressurized me like, no, you have to stay here in India and you should not go to abroad for studies or like that. But it was my dream to go to UK to do my further studies. In that way, I will tell you one thing, like I had a passport, I applied for passport and it was like 1.5 months, that passport didn't came yet. I called the person like, commissioner, police commissioner, why you are not sending my passport? And I'm here like waiting for 1.5 years. I want to go to abroad for studies in UK for further studies. But he said, oh, madam, no, not that the way. I told him like, do you want money or something like that? Then he said, no, I don't want money, but I will send you a passport. So next moment I got, like in 5 minutes, I got a message that your passport is couriered. I said, fine. And after 5 days, the passport was not yet at home. And one fine day, like on Sunday, I was talking to my sister, why the passport is not there? I'm going to call the police again. Why he is delaying? Because I need to do the further procedures. And then my dad heard this and he was like, oh, your passport is there. It came like 5 days back, but I kept it in the another flat because I don't want you to go to abroad. And I was shocked to see that my father don't want me to go abroad and just be beside him and do everything. It was a high time for me to listen to him because I was like 26, 27. And I said, okay, and I'm going to live my life as I want. It was my dream to see the whole world. So one fine day, I was very stressed out with seeing guys for my marriage. Being an arranged marriage in India is very tough. And being from a very high class family, I have to obey that. And one of my best friends, she told me, let's go to a trek like for traveling. Why can't you join us? We are like 103 people. And I was like, okay. Of course, my dad was against of it, but I went there. And I met like many people, I met many friends, and it was my memorable life trip. That was in Dudhsagar in India. So it was Dudhsagar trek. So it was for 2 days, and when I came back, he didn't talk to me for 15 days. It was very hard for me that he didn't talk. But you know what, I lived my life in that 2 days, and I started going for trips, I started going for treks. Again and again. In 2015, I did almost 15 treks and trips in a year. And that is what I was living my life. Traveling is nothing bad, but where you got connected to the nature, you live your life in the way what you want. So I loved it, but still he don't like this idea of traveling. After exploring India, I think 90% of India I have seen. Slovakia is my next adventurous country where I'm going to see the next trips and all. Since 1 year, I have traveled a lot different parts of Slovakia. It's very beautiful, mountainous nature. People should connect to it, and I feel that different parts of the country should see that Slovakia is a very beautiful country. Thank you so much.
I'm Malaysian. I was born and raised in a Muslim country by very traditional Chinese family. I went to a Methodist girls' school, and I spent a lot of time growing up in a Protestant church. That's where I learned to speak English. Needless to say, there was no shortage of rules that govern everything that I do. Rules about what I should or shouldn't eat, where I should or shouldn't go, whom I should or shouldn't marry, and how I should or shouldn't dress. And the unfortunate thing about this is that so much of these rules is based on what people or how they think about me more than what I thought about myself. So I'll just give you an example. If I was in Malaysia and I was walking home, in Malaysia I won't be walking home, but if I was in Malaysia and I was walking home and I passed by a construction site where there are construction workers, and if they start catcalling me, the society that I grew up in would automatically assume that it's my fault. And they would assume that I either dressed wrong and I dressed provocatively, even though I'm covered completely head to toe, or they will assume that I was behaving in a very slutty or flirtatious way. And if that's not the case, then they will assume that I'm just really stupid for deciding to walk home in the first place, because I'm supposed to know better than to expect construction workers to behave differently. So no matter what I did, I was always at fault, and I was always the one who asked for it. And this was, it's really hard, because it's hard enough for me to be responsible and accountable for my own behaviors and actions. It's even harder for me to be responsible and accountable for everybody else's actions and behaviors. I mean, come to think about it, it's a really, really stupid and impossible situation. It's one that you'll grow up in to live in fear and self-doubt. So, a few Thursdays ago, a friend of mine invited me to his improv event, which I was really excited about. And when the day came, I was so excited. I was getting ready to go out, and I jumped into my favorite Levi's jeans, and I put on a really cute red top. It was midriff, off-shoulder, and long sleeve with slits. And I let my hair down so that it drapes on my shoulders. I had my best essential oils on, and I put on some lipstick, which I only reserve for like special events. And I was so excited about it. And just before I left my apartment, a friend of mine was already there. So he was supposed to come and walk me to the event. And when I saw him, he was looking dashing, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and I could see that we're both just as excited about going to the event. But as soon as I walked outside and I stepped on the street, I could feel the cool autumn breeze against my face, and I could see the final beams from the sunset just bounce off my shoulders and my arm, and it was just glowing. And I could feel my hair running down my back. And as I walked, it swayed and it brushed lightly against the small of my back, where my jeans were sitting snugly on my hips. And I held my head up high, and I had a smug look on my face, and I smiled. It was an amazing feeling because I felt free. I felt free from the judgment of other people and myself. I felt free from feeling unsafe, and I felt free from all the voices in my head that used to tell me what I should or shouldn't do because of what people were going to think about me. And to be honest, that was the best feeling ever. Thank you.
I never really thought about why I liked opera. I just did. But I like to sing it. I didn't really hear much opera. I've never really gone to a theater to see an opera. I've never really went to a concert where opera would be sung, unless it was me singing. It was only when I was about 18 years old, when my teacher of singing, who was preparing me for the audition for the musical school, told me, well, Martina, you should at least go see one opera before the audition, so that in case anyone asks you, what opera have you seen? Which opera did you like the most? Or what theater did you like? I could at least have something to say. So I went. I bought the cheapest tickets. I sat in the last row under a balcony where I literally saw nothing but the heads of the people sitting in front of me and a little bit of something going on the stage, which I couldn't really tell what it was. I couldn't really hear much either because, you know, the most lousy sound is under the balcony, so I didn't really get much from the opera. After half an hour, I started being bored. I didn't really enjoy myself. About an hour into the opera, I started to get this headache, like this one that you have in the back of your head, and it's really hard to get rid of. But I endured. I finished, I made it, and after it I could say I saw an opera, and I was very happy about it. Then moving forward about 5 years into my life, I'm sitting at this job interview in a bank, because along with studying musical school, I was also studying economy. This manager sitting in front of me, reading my resume in front of me, and he's saying, "Oh, okay, I see you have studied opera, you have studied the University of Economics, you have other extracurricular activities, so you're very busy, you have a lot of duties. So how do you let the stress out? Because you don't really have much time to do it." And I thought for a split of a second, and I said, "Well, opera. It lets me release everything. Whatever stress you have, or I have in my life, whatever sadness, opera just sets me free. If I want to shout, I can sing loud, and that's called forte. So it's amazing because nobody's mad at me because I have shouted, or nobody thinks I'm crazy that I'm shouting. People actually enjoy it. I have been singing ever since I was 8, and I hope I will just keep on singing because it gives me goosebumps when I sing. Now I would like to sing you an aria from the opera that I saw that first time. It's an aria from opera called La Bohème from Giacomo Puccini. And it's an aria of Musetta, which is a girl, a woman that loves to be adored.
So it was back in 2003, 2004. I was in my early 20s. I was living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the United States at that time. I had just graduated from university. I was living alone and enjoying my freedom. And that was also the period when I met a lot of very interesting people who were very different from me. And one of them was Tyler. Tyler was from Minnesota, and he was a pothead. So pothead is someone who smokes cannabis, marijuana, on a regular basis. But Tyler was fun. He was a kind of person you want to hang out with, go to a party with. He was genuinely fun. And one day, Tyler invited me to a house party. And he had just moved into a new house with a bunch of people in a suburb in Minneapolis. So I go to the party, and immediately in the living room, I see a group of people sitting in a circle, and they're passing a big bong around the circle. And the air was just filled with thick smoke. And the scent of marijuana is, well, unmistakable. It's definitely very, very strong. And Tyler comes over to me and he introduces me to his new housemates. And they turn out to be also potheads like him. And he's like, come join us. And I'm like, no, it's okay, thank you. And he's like, all right, suit yourself. And so I go into the kitchen and I see on the counter snacks, like typical party snacks, chips, dips, and whatnot. And then there's a plate of chocolate chip cookies, like bite sizes, like this big. And of course I go straight to the plate of chocolate chip cookies. And at that time, I'm really quite naive. I was never brought up to know a lot about recreational drugs or anything about cannabis. So innocently, I start taking a chocolate chip cookie and put it in my mouth, and then I take another one, and then another one, and at some point, I think I must have finished half of the plate by myself. And that's when a girl comes to me and she introduces herself as one of the housemates. And she says, oh, I see you really enjoy my chocolate chip cookies. And she says she baked it. And I'm like, wow, that's really, really good, very delicious. And she's like, yeah, it's all vegan. There's no milk, no animal products in there. And she says she put some marijuana butter in it. And it didn't really cross my mind, like what it was supposed to be. Like I didn't know that you could turn marijuana into butter. And I had no idea. So I just didn't think of it as anything like unique or different. So, and also Tyler comes over to me right around that time. And he says, oh, dude, I'm really sorry. Like, I forgot to tell you, the chocolate chip cookies you ate, they were made with marijuana butter. And I'm like, okay, so why is everybody talking about marijuana butter? I just didn't get it, because I was that naive. And then Tyler says something like, don't worry, you're not gonna see elephant dancing in the middle of your living room. It's all right, you're gonna be okay. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm fine. So, and I go home soon after. So I go home, I get home, I even drive home because I didn't drink. And I take a shower, and then I feel hungry. I don't know why. So I go to the fridge and I start eating just everything in the fridge. I think I ate a slice of frozen pizza. And I had no idea why I felt so hungry all of a sudden, but I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I go to sleep, and this is when it all goes downhill from there. My eyes are closed, and I feel like I can hear everything so well. Like I hear drops of water from the shower head in the bathroom. I hear the radiator humming. I hear wind outside. I swear I heard insects walking on my walls in my bedroom. Like I could hear them crawling. And I was just lying there, eyes closed, thinking, what's going on? Am I developing some kind of superpowers? And then my heart started beating really fast. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. And then it went like boom, 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 boom. And I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. And I panicked. I just panicked. So what I did, I crawled out of bed because I thought I was gonna die. I couldn't breathe. I was gasping for air. And I crawled towards my phone, my fixed line. At that time, it was before mobile phone was popular. So I had a fixed line attached to the wall. So I crawled to the phone. I grabbed the handle. I started dialing 911, the emergency number. And the operator, I remember clearly, she was like, "What is your emergency?" And in a very dramatic tone, I said, "I'm dying and I can't breathe." So what happens in the States is when you call the emergency line, they send everything. They send the police, they send the ambulance, they send the fire truck. They all go to your place at the same time. And sure enough, a couple minutes later, I hear a knock on my door, and I crawl, because I was like dying at the time. I didn't know what was going on. I crawled from my bedroom to the front door. I open the front door, and I see my landlord, the person I rent my flat from. He lives downstairs, and he is in his underwear, and he's like this big man with a big beer belly in his underwear, with two police officers next to him. The two police officers came right into my flat, started checking everything. Opening windows and everything, checking my kitchen, the bedroom, and then one of them lifted me up and then took me outside of the building to the street level, the main entrance to the building. And when I went outside, there was the police officer, holding me outside, and I saw spotlights on me, like at least 3 spotlights. And I saw like the ambulance, I saw my neighbors, they were all outside looking at me. It was like as if there was a big crime scene, and there was me in the middle. And then the paramedics came, and they gave me this oxygen mask, and they started asking me a bunch of questions like can you breathe, like do you have any medical problems, and blah blah blah. And even that time, I didn't know what was the reason why. It didn't even cross my mind that it was because of those cookies. And I remember I just told them a bunch of stuff I ate. And then they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital. And I said no, mostly because I knew it would cost me a lot of money, because at that time, I was new at work, and so my insurance didn't really cover everything. For example, a ride in the ambulance would cost me like at least $100. So I said no, and then as they were asking me questions about my day, what I ate and everything, it's slowly dawned on me that those damn cookies, yeah. And that was my first experience with eating marijuana. And it was also my last. And also, when I really realized that freedom comes with, it has to come with a lot of experience, trials and errors, and also there has to be knowledge to match it.